Welcome into the Game Plan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr., and we are here in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. One more time, Coach.
Yes.
And this one is after a win, man. How great was it to end the season with a win? We saw a lot of emotion in that locker room. Looked like you guys, it really meant a lot to y'all.
Yeah, it was really important, and it may not feel like that externally, but inside the building, these guys really fight for it. You know, here before sun comes up, leave after, in the dark, and so there's a lot that goes into playing in a game and performing. We only have this certain amount, and so when you fight for something hard, it really means something.
And is that win something you can kind of carry into the offseason? I know there's a lot of turnover on the roster in the offseason, but there's going to be about 35 guys here that were on this team. Like, is that something that helps out, or?
I thought before we even got into the offseason, I wanted to address the things. Could we find some finishing chances,
Sure.
Logan? And that's what I liked most about the game. Down in the fourth, go ahead, get a stop, get another score, close it out. Like, those are the moments that we've just haven't had enough of. Did some winning, finishing, didn't do some. And so for me, didn't want to wait for the offseason to
Sure.
have to address that.
Sure.
Like, I wanted to make sure this is how it has to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal.
And Coach, talk about a big deal. The ageless wonder, Bobby Wagner, ends up being one of 3 players with 2,000 plus career tackles.
Yes.
A major, major milestone for a guy that seems like he's just getting younger. How important was that, not only for him, but for you and the entire locker room?
Yeah, when we knew that was something that could be a possibility, it's just a remarkable number. It's toughness, it's durability, it's technique, it's skill, it's all of those things, and so that's why there's so few that actually are in that club. Now only 3 of them. So it was really important. So much so at half, where's he at? Okay, we got to get some more tackles here in the half. And so it was really important. We all wanted it so much for him, and he's still got good football in him as well.
It's crazy to think that like him and London are kind of affiliated
Yeah.
now with the same organization. And I thought it was really cool that you had him down in the locker room after. Can you talk about that? Having London, future Hall of Famer, and Bobby Wagner kind of sharing that moment
Yeah,
together?
I thought this is one of those rare chances that we could have 2 guys get together. They're going to be in the same building, and so I said, hey, would you mind leaving the broadcast a minute or 2 early? I'd really love for you to be in the locker room, because this is something that happens, so rarely. And so the chance to do that with London and with Bobby, I said, these guys will tackle you anywhere. And so, to have that chance, and I was really honored to have London, being part of that space too.
Cool. Talk about guys that'll tackle you anywhere. Makes me think of a guy in Jeremy Reaves, who we have seen progress so much in these years with Washington. Mainly a special teams guy, but this year gets a chance to be on that defense. Then the last game gets that interception. Man, how important is a guy like Jeremy Reaves for this locker room?
Yeah, he is a true leader, commander. Not just on the field. He makes our entire building better, Brian, just by his attitude, his intensity. Man, he is all the way through leader, and one tough-ass competitor, too.
And again, he's the guy that you just can't help but to root for, because he kind of started off as a UDFA special teams guy, and now he's playing some significant ball. Can you talk about maybe his day-to-day process and what makes that possible for him?
Yeah, I think he's one of the early arrivals,
Yep.
and to make sure a process is in place. And sometimes that system, this is what I need to do, this is how I get ready, the practice reps are intentional, in meetings he's intentional, and you can tell when a guy's really locked in. Say you're in a backup space and you're asking a question about a coverage check
Sure.
or an assignment. Okay, that one right there, he knows when his chance is going to come, he's not going to miss it.
And Coach, it's easy to talk about the rookies and their development, but we had year 2 guys on that defense that developed. Johnny Newton, Mikey Sanders, so even Jordan McGee, guys that had to get healthy and were able to play. How excited are you from what you've seen this season for their continued development, especially in this offseason?
Yeah, the speed and the hitting ability, those are things that you can always win with on defense. And all 3 of those have, unique stuff to them, their explosion, their speed. And so we look forward to adding more to it. But for sure, they're ascending on the way up.
And for those young players, how do you, what's the biggest piece of advice heading into an offseason? Because again, it doesn't stop, right? You take some time for yourself, obviously, but what would the thing you say, hey, guys, just make sure we do X, Y, Z, make sure we're ready to go when season starts?
It's about 100 days between now and when the off-season program begins.
So short, man.
And so it's what are you going to do with those? It doesn't mean you're all day, every day doing something, but there is a system. What could be your obstacles to get in the way of taking it to that next spot? If you want to be really intentional about something, you got to put the work into something specific. And so that's what they can do on their own now before they get back into the off-season program. And having a plan to do that, what that looks like. Some is that it's physical development. Some might be how to process something better or learning a system. So all of it matters. It's not the same for everybody, but it's an important step.
And Coach, when you go on the offensive side of the ball, another milestone was hit for Terry McLaurin. He passed a few legends when it comes to career receptions against the Eagles. How impressive is that milestone, especially somebody like you who's so familiar with the NFC East?
Yeah, he had some. Wish the penalties counted for some yards as well. Yeah, he's so diligent at what he does, and he's so unique as a route runner, the way he can track the ball. And so someday, hopefully many years from now, there'll be something on the deep balls, what he's known for, how he can just look in the right location, and certainly Jaden, connects with him on that spot too. But to be associated with heavy hitters for an organization that's, been around, over 90 years, that's a big deal.
And so you got the game plan against him when you were in Dallas, obviously, for a long time. And then was there something that surprised you about him when you got here? Like that said, I didn't expect him to be X, Y, Z, like now that you know him personally?
I think the body control and the ability to stop, I knew the big deep plays that could go over the top, a post route, a deep ball. But his ability to snap down, I thought that was significant. For somebody that can get over the top of you, you're going to be that way. So the ability to snap down and run in-breaking routes, like that's a big deal, because when you game plan against them, the one thing you're going to say is, man, be on top. They're going to take a shot on you. So some of his in-breaking play pass routes are really, really strong.
And Coach, this
season,
they
look the same.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And Coach, this season, it felt like every single week we were talking about how our running game was in the top 5 of the NFL. It just continued our running back by committee. How would you assess this group and how they performed this year?
Yeah, I think consistency with them comes to mind. I don't know the exact numbers, Brian, but they're probably all over 4 or 5 a carry in some spaces. And I think that speaks to their consistency together. Bill had a couple of home run, ones to go. Chris had some really significant yards after contact plays, and Jeremy some that can do, a little bit of everything. Certainly leaned on him more after Austin's injury, in game 2. So the consistency for their group, their support of one another, that showed up.
And again, like you see the running back position moving away from like the one bell cow guy. How important is it to have, 3, 4 guys that can do something different in that backfield?
Yeah, it's important because you want to make sure, like, all right, as you're going through it, blitz pickup, running game, how do you go out of the backfield, the third down, all of that matters. And so decision making, doing it quickly, and at that position, man, you better be tough. And these guys, they are tough.
You talk about
they
tough.
Are tough.
No doubt.
Because you talk about tough, I look at a guy like Jaden Daniels, who no doubt wanted to be on that field but missed a few games with injury. How excited are you to see a gamer like that, a dog like that, get back in this offseason, get healthy, and ramp up and show guys what he can do in year 3?
Yeah, if there was a way to make him even more competitive, we just found it. And so that's a good thing, because that's what the great players do, and go to the next level and get through to the next ceiling. And like he is in that space, and man, we're fortunate that we have him. And although this season didn't go like we wanted it to, man, he's capable of a lot, and we're going to push him to get there.
And for the other young guys, you talked about identifying things to improve on. If there's something that you want him to be thinking about this offseason, is there one thing you can pinpoint, or is it just kind of?
Yeah, I think some of it will be, how we do it in the offense, the communication, the ways to go. It'll be his ability, using his legs, remaining a passer, and getting outside the pocket, doing those. So those are a few just to start. Yeah, but the accuracy for him, it's always something that he works at hard, and that's why he's excellent at it. So now it's going to be, the different parts of the offense and how we utilize them.
And Coach, year 2 as the head coach of the Washington Commanders, from your assessment, what do you take away most from this season?
This one was probably my most challenging, in a long time. Certainly battling through the injuries early, it's not an excuse, but it is a reason. And so to have some of these guys come back, you can see how excited, that would make us to go. We learned a lot of lessons in 25, and we're for damn sure going to pay those forward in 26 and beyond, so we never have to go through a season like this again. And so it was difficult, it was hard. The thing I take away most, though, Bryan, is like the players and sticking together, man. Like when it was the hardest, they knew they could count on one another. And I think as a teammate, that's what you want. You go through hard things, but you got your teammates to lean on, and they certainly did that.
And Coach, we appreciate you sticking with us here on the Game Plan. Now, before we move any further, we got to get into the film study with Logan Paulsen one more time. Thanks, Coach.
There's only one game ball to go out tonight. One of the old heads did, so Fletch.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, in the history of the National Football League that's been played over 100 years, there have been 3 players to eclipse the 2,000 tackle mark. Only 3 players. So, Ray Lewis, myself, and today, Bobby Wagner.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you, man. Ever since I got out here, man, the love of the game, you guys helped bring that back to me. And, you know, I know we've had some up and downs, but I would never want to go with ups and downs with this group. This group is special. It means something to me. It's something I'll always remember. I'm so grateful for you guys, and let's keep pushing.
Hell yeah, Bob.
Now, while Logan and Coach prepare for film study, let's get into our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. And this week's Prime Player is no other than future Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner. In our win over the Eagles, Bobby Wagner hit yet another career milestone. Wagner needed just 5 tackles to eclipse 2,000 tackles in his career, and he did just that. What a milestone for the future Hall of Famer, and what a career. Now, in 14 seasons, Bobby has 2,000 total tackles, 39.5 sacks, 12 fumble recoveries, 15 interceptions, and 219 games played. What an incredible feat. Only done by 2 other players in NFL history. Ray Lewis, who's a Hall of Famer, and our guy, the captain, London Fletcher. Congrats to our guy, Bobby. Now, we are headed to break, but coming up, Logan and Coach will be back to break down some Commanders highlights in film study. And later on, Coach Logan and I will count down the kickoff one more time. We'll be back after the break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, presented by Salisbury University. It's time for film study, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls, in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Take it away, Coach and Low.
Thanks, Brian. Coach, just a couple high spots from the season. Let's start with this Philly game. And this is one of the fun ones, Coach, because to me, it fooled me. You know, and I like to watch a lot of ball, think I know ball. This looks like quarters coverage to me, but you were saying as we were warming up here, 3 deep, 3 underneath, and great job by Jeremy Reaves on this interception.
Yeah, just knowing that a safety can still play a hook from high, you know, depending on the down and distance or where the location is. And then for Reaves, obviously, you know, holding the skies, keeping vision back towards the quarterback, and knowing that this was a big play, Logan. This came after we had thrown an interception, and so to get the ball back and give us a chance for points at the half, because this one actually led at the end of the half to go down to a field goal. So this is a big play by Reaves, and man, he brought a lot of juice to this one.
Huge play by Reaves, but also, like, Coach, I wanted to ask you, like, it's cover 3, and I always think of them getting kind of over the ball here in the middle of the field.
Yep.
But he's really shading the 3 receiver set. Is that something you guys talked about in the week?
Yeah, and this specific one we did based on the formation, who was where, and so you can see the vision he has of, you know, where the route goes, where it starts, up on the top for the hook player, up on the top, I believe it's Will, and then, you know, see Frankie going to the flat, and so, yeah, just some small nuances that go into the play.
Yeah, and it's great. Like you said, especially after a turnover, keeping points off the board, big time stuff. And Coach, I don't know, maybe you can play a little punt returner in the future. I don't know. What do you think?
He can do just about anything. With his speed, his playmaking ability. Yeah, he brought a lot of energy. You can see us all lit up here on the sideline.
The juice, man.
Yes.
It's awesome to see that. Yeah, and so again, like there's one guy kind of, I don't know, I always think of him as at the beginning of his defensive career, and then you get Bobby Wagner, Coach, who's, I don't know, like you said, is about 1,900 of these lying somewhere else. But just, to me, this is textbook, right? I stay nice and square with my shoulders, get downhill, feel the double team, play out of this gap, and just a model of technique and efficiency like his whole career's been. Yeah,
to tackle over alignment, where's the ball going to go? Can he stay square? Can he use all this length? Can he avoid? And then get right into the contact. And like playing square at linebacker and playing strong at the point of contact, those are 2 things that allow you to be a good tackler. And not only is he good, man, he's one of the best that's ever done it.
Yeah, man. I mean, in rarefied air now, like we talked about, only 3 guys ever to do it. That's a fun group to be a part of, Coach. And then so this one I love because I think this shows what this guy's all about. You know, Bill Krosky Merritt. I think it shows what Connerly's about. But as we always do, I learn something every time we do this. You were talking about the intelligence of Wiley, the intelligence of Coleman. This is supposed to be a trap. They should be trapping this guy here. They get a little different front, but just everybody kind of playing ball and playing the down the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, and then making the adjustment on the fly. And like, as you know, like playing tight end or O-line and running back, that's usually what it is. Very rarely is everybody exactly where they're supposed to be. So Riley takes the, into the block of the linebacker. Coleman goes up to there, and then the quickness of Connerly to get down onto the backer to create that seam. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I think that's something that really stood out to me about Connerly the second half of the season, specifically in this Dallas game, was just the quickness, especially in the run game, to make some of these plays. Like, it feels like he's going to be a special football player.
Yeah, and I think when the game slows down, you actually speed up your technique and your communication. And so I think he played every snap this year, Logan.
That's unbelievable.
And so, like, for a young player to have that kind of experience, man, you think about the dividends that will pay forward.
Yeah, and then I think about this guy too, another young player in Bill, and like everyone thinks of him as this explosive play merchant because he has a bunch of explosive runs, but the contact balance here and the dexterity is something that always sticks out when I watch him run.
Taking care of the ball, finishing, and man, he's quite a competitor. He had a big crowd here at this game from some family. A bunch came up from Montgomery, so very cool to see him get in the end zone 2 times.
That's fantastic, yeah. So love to see that, veterans, young guys doing their thing, and then Coach, like this is just. Gosh, it just gets me fired up on like a primal level, right? We're in the red zone here. They're going to run power, and it just I see a bunch of guys here who want it more than the other people, and the physical violence of this play just gets me juiced up.
Yeah, this was one of our most fun times playing down in the low red zone, the hitting, the physicality, and I think these 2 linebackers, man, are they bringing it with 58-4, just knowing that, like, the speed, the hitting, the explosion, like, good things are going to happen when you run and hit like that. And then, of course, Reaves coming over the top to be a part of it.
Coming out of the top, like center field here, man. Like that gets me juiced up. Everyone's running the ball, and it's not dead yet, but it's dead now.
Yeah, for our fans that watch him, you want to talk play style, that's play style. Yeah. And if you watch just the energy that comes off of this play alone of what it can bring for a team.
And then, so obviously, another young guy is Jalen Lane with the punt returns, Coach. And again, to me, it's an 11-man kind of game here, right? You talked about this as we were getting ready, just the leverages when he catches the football. I think that's always the sign of a great return. Like, I see guys in good position to make blocks, and let him get this thing going, and it really means 11 guys working together.
Yeah, and sometimes on a punt return, it's just owning enough leverage. If you see Noah just getting enough of the person here, staying attached, 3 or 4 guys here staying attached, make one miss with some space, which you can count on Jalen to do, and then at the end of it, again, from the speed to go finish, and we had seen this demonstrated, on some of his tape from college, and to see it come to life in the NFL, that's a big deal.
It's very special, man. Very exciting, and again, Coach, really enjoy doing the show with you. Learn something every time we do it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, awesome, Logan.
Shout out to Coach and Logan for that film study and for their film studies all season long. Now, let's get into our winning numbers brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And those winning numbers are from our wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. On Sunday's season finale in Philly, 1-7 etched his name into more of Washington's franchise history. Our guy surpassed 1,000 career receiving yards against the Eagles. Scary Terry is now the 5th player in Washington franchise history to accomplish that feat against Philadelphia, joining some big-time legends. Now, unfortunately, 1-7 has been sidelined for most of the season, but it was nice to end on a positive note against an NFC division rivalry. Now, let's take a look at more of our upcoming competition. It's time for a Competitive Edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. And here's a look at some important dates of the offseason to give Washington a competitive edge. With the 2026 draft right around the corner, the Command Center Podcast Network is your home for all Commanders draft coverage. Our draft guru, Logan Paulsen, is providing you in-depth analysis on every step leading up to the draft. And in April, our Game Day Live crew, featuring myself, Santana Moss, and Brian Mitchell, will be heading to Pittsburgh for the 2026 NFL Draft. Our boots will be on the ground, providing exclusive coverage only available on the Commanders' YouTube, Facebook, and X. Now we gotta go to break, but be sure to stick around, Commanders family, because Coach Logan and I will be right back to count down to kickoff of our offseason. Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. It's time for your must-watch moment presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. And this week's must-watch moment is safety Jeremy Reaves' first interception of the season. Now, in Week 18, All-Pro Revo came up clutch before the half and intercepted Tanner McKee at the goal line. This was the Commanders' 10th takeaway of the year and second red zone turnover on the season. Big-time player making big-time plays. Now it's time for our countdown to kickoff presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Coach, it's been a fun season so far. We appreciate you taking the time to join us all the time. And as we approach this offseason, what is the focus? What are you locked in on? What's the game plan for this offseason?
Yeah, I think a number of people have asked, all right, now the season's over, and it's, to me, what's next is like it's just beginning. Yeah, and there's so many things internally first. All right, what do we want to learn? Where do we go from there? What's the lessons? We just got done exit interviews. We do that with every player to make sure what are we doing well? What do we need to work on? What could be better? How can we change? How can we adapt? And we've learned a lot from players through the years. They're the ones living it day after day and going through it. And then from there, through coaching, through scouting, free agency, and then into the draft. So yeah, a lot to dig in on, and all of it focused around us getting better so we're never in this spot again.
And Coach, we appreciate you so much for taking the time to join us all season long.
Always.
We had fun. We hope you had fun with us.
Yes, 100%.
Man, I got to see the cool kicks, the cool gear, Coach. We appreciate you so much, Commander fans. We appreciate y'all as well. This has been the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr., and we'll see y'all next season.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.